Hello, welcome to the Undercovers podcast. I'm your host, Ben, along with your co hosts, Tommy, Paul, and Jenna. And tonight we have a very special episode, kind of. We're doing an all time Bills draft. We figured with training camp still 15 days away. We kind of, not that we beat everything, to a dead horse, covered every angle, but I mean, we basically, reviewed the offseason, the draft, free agency, the 53-man roster, look at the AFC East and the Bills schedule. So, I mean, we've kind of, done a micro analysis of the every single aspect of the Bills offseason. So now with still a little bit of time, to go to free agency. I saw a Colts podcast do it, so I figured it would be a fun exercise. So I think it should be a lot of fun. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm excited. I have so many pages of notes. I spent all day thinking of who I'm going to take. Not really, no. I've been too focused on trying to find players.
Yeah, doing pretty slow. I've been looking up players as well and trying to brainstorm
Same here. I've just
who
brainstormed.
the best players to take.
I mean, there's so many, different eras to go through. You got, obviously the AFL, then, 70s, 80s, which probably weren't as good, but I mean, you still had OJ, who was arguably the best Bill of all time, right? And then you had the Super Bowl era, and then after the Super Bowl era, I mean, the drought, of course, which we know about, and now the Josh Allen era. So, I mean, tons of players to choose from. There might be some or multiple controversial selections, but I'm excited at least. And I mean, the draft order, which I randomized. I just put them in a random list and did it 10 times. So where I'm picking, I kind of just had to figure out kind of a little bit of strategy of what I wanted to do. I'll get into the draft order in a minute. So basically how we decided to go about doing this, we're going to do, of course, one quarterback, one receiver, one running back, one tight end, then one offensive lineman. So it can be any, the 5 positions. Defensive lineman, defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker, outside or in, and then, defensive back, cornerback, safety, special teams player, and coach. So total of 10 selections each, and there's 4 of us. We're going to do it like a snake draft in fantasy. So we're just going to go 1 through 4, then back down the order and, so on and so forth. So, I mean, I'm excited at least.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is going to be a really fun exercise for the group, and hopefully everybody they can rate our teams and
that's definitely going to be the interesting thing is kind of like the debates, and the conversations about the teams. I mean, because obviously there's only 2 Hall of Fame. I mean, obviously one in the Hall of Fame, but a future Hall of Fame. I mean, the quarterbacks are a little bit top heavy, other positions too. So it's gonna kind of be interesting to see the different combinations we each come up with. So I mean, I'm looking forward to this. Also, I mean, not that it's going to take a while. I guess I'll just put I'll just get a timer online on my computer. But we'll say like a minute for each pick is good. Max, okay. I think that's fine. Minute. I mean, I don't think it's gonna take me longer than take us longer than a minute.
Right.
So.
Yep.
And the draft order is Tommy. I'm sorry, Tommy. You're not number 1. You're number 2. It's Paul, then Tommy, yep. And then me, then Jenna, and then we're gonna snake it around. So, I mean, I'm ready to, start, drafting. Are you guys, ready to kick this thing off?
Ready to roll.
I'm ready to rumble.
All right. So we're going to start this draft now. And Paul, you're on the clock with the first pick right now.
So I spent no time thinking about, I'm going to be honest with you, I spent no time thinking about who I'm going to take. Who I'm going to take first overall. I mean, there's so many avenues I can go with first overall. I joked earlier, and I'm not going to say his name. I joked earlier with a quarterback I could have taken. I'm not going to take him, but I am going to take. I'm going to take Josh Allen number 1. I think I just, you can take Jim Kelly number 1. I mean, I could have, but
Right.
I won't. I think Josh Allen, just talent wise, I think just gives me the gives me the reason to take him number one. I also think that he's the one to take for us to win a Super Bowl, even though Kelly was there four times.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of made a little mock draft, my preparation, because I kind of wanted to see, what my pick might look like, and I mean, I expected that to be the top selection. Not gonna lie, I would have taken Josh as well. I don't know about you, Tommy.
I would have taken Josh.
Just the dual threat, all around stats. I think that's that's an easy pick.
Definitely.
All right, Tommy. You
All right.
are on the clock now. You're picking number 2.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna take Jim Kelly as my first overall pick at number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good one because, like I kind of mentioned earlier in the show, he's the only current quarterback in the Hall of Fame. Josh, of course, is on his way, but I mean, there's kind of a significant quarterback drop off after that. So,
Yep.
I would have taken Kelly if you didn't take him. I'll be honest. So,
Right.
with Kelly off the board and Josh, I'm actually gonna, maybe not a curveball, but I'm gonna switch up the strategy. And they say defense wins championships, and he's arguably the best Buffalo Bills defensive player, the best Buffalo Bill of all time, and one of the best defensive players in the history of professional football. So give me Bruce Smith from Virginia Tech is my
All
first
right.
pick, and I'm going defense.
All right, I like it. Good pick, Ben. Good pick.
All right, Jenna, you get 2 picks, so you get a minute for the first one and then a minute for the second.
Hey guys,
Mm-hmm.
guys, can you
What's
hear
up?
me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
What's up, Jenna?
My stream keeps going in and out.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my stream keeps going in and out.
Okay.
It's not cooperating.
Can you hear us now?
Okay.
Wait. See, my connection is on. Shoot. Here, give me a moment. Hold on.
All right. So we'll give Jenna a minute. Just to recap. First 2 picks were quarterbacks, and I mean it's an offense-driven league, so I mean that kind of makes sense. You get a chance to take, one of the best quarterback prospects of all time, and if I'm building my team and I got to pick with any NFL player ever, I mean Josh Allen's probably near the top of my list just in terms of what he can do with the football, how defenses have to stop him, and I mean even if you don't have a great cast of weapons around him, you'll still be able to get some type of offense. Maybe not, it might not be what the regular output you would have gotten, but he'll at least give you rushing yards, give you passing yards. Like he's enough of a spark by himself. And then I mean Jim, of course, taking the team to 4 Super Bowls. So I mean I think those are pretty those were the easy picks. And then I went defense with pick 3. And Jenna, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you're
We can
good.
hear you.
So just to
Hey,
recap,
okay.
Josh, Jim, and Bruce were all
Josh,
picked.
Jim, and Bruce.
So you are now
Yep.
picking.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
And you get
with
2
my
picks, by the
pick-
way, because it's a snake draft.
Fun stuff. Hold on. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
We can
oh
see
my
you.
God.
Yeah, you're-
Oh, I can't stay in here without splitting my iPad. So I'm gonna split my iPad so then I can see all my
All
all
right,
my
that's fine.
players. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So Bruce Smith. I'm gonna go with Andre Reed.
Ooh, okay, I like that. That's a good pick.
That is a
Great.
good pick.
All right.
All right, you get another pick too.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with Cornelius Bennett.
Ooh, that's another.
Ooh,
Wow.
I like that pick. He was my top linebacker. I'll be honest.
Yep.
He was a
Alright.
linebacker
right.
on my board as well. So
All right, so man, I was not expecting this opportunity now to be able to pick my top 2 offensive players. So now this is kind of interesting because I already planned on both these players being off the board, but he's got the 3 best wide receiver seasons in franchise history, and he's only been here 3 years. I mean, regardless of the off the field stuff, which I think is way overblown, he's only going to get better and his numbers are only going to keep improving. I think he's going to keep climbing the all-time Bills receiver list. So give me Stephon Diggs as my number 2 pick.
Good pick, Ben. All right.
I
Am
love
I-
that.
Fuck.
Yes, you are on the clock now, Tommy.
All right. So for my second pick, I am going to take wide receiver Eric Moulds.
Ooh,
Ooh,
okay.
I like that pick. Good pick.
He sees that there's a little bit of a wide receiver run.
There is. Kelly to Molds would be a good combo.
Yeah,
it would be a good combo.
combo. All right.
All right, Paul. You get 2 picks now because of it snakes back down to the top.
All right. So since there's a wide receiver run, so I'm not going to miss this wide receiver run. I'm going to snag Lee Evans here.
Ooh.
I
right.
honestly think if you put Lee Evans with Josh Allen,
Ooh.
I mean, I think that
mean-
could be a scary combo.
That was,
You remember those 2 83-yard plays? He had that, Lossman's first start in Houston in that first quarter. Like, you give Evans Allen's arm. I mean, that would honestly probably be crazy. That's a good pick.
that
It
was
would be crazy.
All right, so
I
you're on the
just-
board again now, Paul.
All right, so there's so many different players you can take. I took offense twice. I think I'm gonna take a defensive player, and I'm going to take Daryl Taylor, linebacker.
All right, that's a good pick.
I like that pick.
All
I do
right.
too.
All right. I'm,
Two-time Pro Bowler, 83 and a half sacks, 14 forced fumbles, and what also is big is 11 interceptions. Turnover machine.
all right. Am I on the board?
You are on the board, Tommy.
Okay. I am going to take one of the all-time greats, Thurman Thomas.
Thurman.
Mm.
Oh,
Mhm.
I was thinking about Thurman, but since you went that route, the juice is on the loose. OJ Simpson, arguably one of the best running backs in the history of the game, the only 2,000-yard single season rusher in franchise history. So give me OJ,
Okay.
the
Okay.
football player, not the guy off
Yeah.
the field, but
Yeah, the football
OJ
player.
Simpson.
All right. So I know I have to go for a quarterback now. This one's really hard because 2 of the best quarterbacks in franchise history are already off the board. This might be a little bit premature, but I do also have a second pick after this, so I can make that pick as well. But I'm gonna go in a different direction now. I'm gonna take a defensive lineman, and I'm gonna take Kyle Williams.
Ooh, I like.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was
mean,
going to be
Jenna,
there later in the draft.
I told Paul and Tommy I kind of did a mock exercise where I just drafted the ones in order of where I thought they would be, and I thought you would draft Kyle Williams, or maybe not in that round, but I just put him on your
Mhm.
team, so I
Yeah.
got that right.
Nice.
I'm patting
Okay.
myself on the back, by the way. But
All right.
anyways, that was a good pick. I love Kyle Williams, by the way.
I loved Kyle Williams when he was here.
All right. So
Such an enforcer.
now I gotta think because I need a quarterback, and I don't want anyone to take this quarterback, so I'm gonna go with Ryan Fitzpatrick, a great journeyman.
Okay.
I like it.
I like it.
All right. Let's see. Since the quarterbacks I want are off the board, I'm gonna keep building up that defense and give me Butch Bird, the all-time leader in picks and 3-time first team AFL, two-time second team AFL, 5 all AFL teams, team leader in interceptions on the Wall of Fame. So give me Butch Bird, an AFL guy. So
AFL guy, the first one off the board. We all took NFL guys. The AFL is super underrated right now in this draft.
Yep. All right, am I on the clock?
you are on the clock, Tommy.
4th pick. All right. 4th pick. I'm gonna go defensive line. I'm gonna take Mario Williams.
Ooh, that's a good
Okay.
pick. He was dominant, those 3-4 years when he first got here.
Yep.
That's a good pick, especially
Yep.
2014,
All right.
2013. Those were the
Yeah, he was
the
dominant.
best years.
But they had that- Yep, Super Mario is my pick.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
All right, next pick for you.
For me, my 4th pick.
Wait, I'm so confused. Wait, no.
We're doing a snake draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Don't
Paul's
you
pick.
go next, Ben?
Yeah, Paul's go.
No, Paul goes, and then Paul picks again, and then Tommy goes, and then I go, and then you go, and then you go.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yep.
Never mind.
All right. So it seems like the draft board's getting smaller. Just kidding. It's not getting smaller.
Oh, it is
Um,
a little bit.
It is a little bit, but not really. I think I can muster out a few picks. Just because I think it might be a little too early to take this running back, but I'm going to take him just in case because I really want him on my team. I'm going to take Fred Jackson. I'm going to take him because I looked up something earlier today that surprised me. I didn't know he was undrafted.
Yeah, he was a D2
just not
player
even-
as well from College.
D3.
Or sorry, D3.
played
You're right.
D3.
Yep.
Yep.
And then he went to play in Europe. And then
NFL Europe.
the interesting connection was that I crossed on was Marv Levy was the general manager when he decided to sign Fred Jackson. Marv Levy also attended College. So that's just an interesting thing interesting nugget I found
That is
doing my entire research today.
all right. So
on
you
all
get
these
another
players.
pick now.
I do.
5 Nights
So-
at Freddy's. Let's go.
I know. I'm so happy. I like this. I like my draft so far. I think
Yeah, you got a good draft so far.
Draft.
I mean, we all do. I mean, they're
We all
all-time
do.
players.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, we all got studs. This is gonna be hard to.
I just don't have a quarterback now. So
I mean, there's still a couple of them out there.
Couple good ones out there, Ben. Don't-
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's kind of
They
interesting.
might not
now.
survive in nowadays
Edwards.
football, but I mean, they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna. So I got a receiver, I got a running back, I got a quarterback, I got my secondary. No, I don't have a secondary guy.
Yeah, you
I'm
just
gonna-
picked the linebacker so far.
I did. I'm the only one. Sorry. the
No, Jenna
second
took
one.
Biscuit. Yeah,
Yeah, biscuit.
second.
I love that word.
Biscuit. Me
Biscuit.
too. It's a great word.
All right. I'm gonna take offensive lineman Eric Wood.
Ooh. Good
All
pick.
right. You
Good.
would.
Good pick. Good pick.
All right. Tommy.
All right, I'm
You're on the clock.
Here. Oh, you know what? I'm offensive line too, and I'm going to take one of the greats, Kent Hall.
Ooh, that is
Good
a
pick, good pick.
I'll be honest, before I pulled the trigger for a Bird, I was really debating a Hall because, I mean, he was a center on the K-Gun offense, helping Kelly out, with all those calls and everything. Just kind of the glue that held that 90s offensive line together and when, was on those Super Bowl teams. So that's a really good pick, actually, right there.
Yep.
All right. So it goes to me and. All right. It's interesting. For the blood and guts of the game, this is actually one of my favorite positions now, and I think once he hangs him up, he'll be one of the Bills' all-time greats at this position. And I know we just added here, but I'm going on my second current player, and he, the touchdown production is there based on games. So I'm going to go with Dawson Knox as my pick as the first tight end off the board.
Nice. Good pick there, Ben.
Dawson.
All right. So there was a little bit of a run on offensive linemen. So I'm gonna go with Mitch Morse.
All right.
All right.
Pick.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
Nice
And
pick.
then
All
for
right.
my second pick, or my first pick in this round, I'm gonna go with LaShawn McCoy.
Ooh, Shady, that's a good pick.
Good
He's
run.
still really good in Buffalo.
He was back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, another interesting nugget on him. He was in the Pro Bowl. I know the Pro Bowl don't mean much, but he was in the Pro Bowl for almost every season as a Bill, except 1 year, which was his last year here.
Right.
And speaking of Pro Bowl, with my next pick, I'm going to select the Bill with the second longest Pro Bowl streak in Buffalo Bill history. The first, of course, is Bruce Smith with 9. I don't know if you guys know who the second one is, but guard Reuben Brown, who went to 8 straight Pro Bowls. So that's my offensive lineman, Reuben Brown.
Didn't know that. Offensive line was hard for me. I was like, who?
We also had John Fina,
True,
who would have
John
been a good, selection too, right? Shout out to John Fina.
How about Billy Shaw?
Yeah. Joe DeLamielleur's in the, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Will Wolford was, Kelly's left tackle for 3 of those Super Bowls. And, for when the offense really, ascended to the league. So, I mean, yeah, O-line was actually a tough group. I agree. So I think it goes back to you, Tommy, right?
Yep, back to me. And I'm gonna do another skill position, tight end. I'm gonna take
You cut out for a little bit. What was that?
Scott Chandler's my tight end.
Scott
pick.
Chandler. That's a good pick. I almost put Chandler above Knox on my big board, but Knox has more touchdowns. I mean, it's tough. I mean, he also didn't have Allen thrown to him. So if you give him, then again, he did play with Brady for a little bit, but that was out at the tail end of his career. But I mean, I guess if he had Allen, maybe his career output could have been better. But shout out to Scott Chandler, the snow shoveling celebration, one of the best ever. That's a good pick, though, Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy Juicy.
What's up? What? You got cut out, Jenna. What'd you say?
Tommy Juicy. That's what she said.
I was gonna say, do I have to repeat it again?
All right. So it goes back to you again, Paul.
Okay, Paul. Nice.
All right, so who I'm going to take right here. So I got almost every offensive player that I could get except tight end. So I think I'm going to start focusing on my defensive players here. Bruce is gone, Mario Williams gone, and Kyle Williams are all gone on my D-line.
Mm-hmm.
So that thins out there. My secondary, I still have a pretty good secondary available. So I'm going to go secondary. I'm going to take Nate Odoms right here for my secondary.
Nate Odom.
Good
Nate
pick.
Odoms, 2-time Pro Bowler, 26 interceptions. Again, 3 forced fumbles. Just an enforcer back there. for the
And I
Bills back
believe
in
it
the
is your
day.
pick again, right?
It is my pick. So I can go anywhere here.
Yeah, you really could.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take my head coach.
Okay.
Okay.
First coach off the board. Who's your coach?
This is
I
a
could take-
toughie.
I could take anyone. I mean, I could go Marv, but 4 straight Super Bowls, 4 straight losses. Sean McDermott, I mean, he has the most winning percentage here out of all of them. Lou Saban could arguably maybe have one of the better. I mean, he's won us our AFL championships. But I'm just looking at my team, who I have on my team. I have some leaders in the locker room on my team that I can use. So I don't really think I need a leader in my locker room as a head coach. So I think I'm going to take Lou Saban here as my head coach.
Okay. Pick.
All right, Tommy, you're on the board.
Wait, can I just? Sorry, who would you pick as the head coach?
Lou
Lou
Saban.
Saban.
Lou Saban. All
Yeah.
right, all right.
And I
think
believe
I wanna-
he's a
okay,
Wall
so
of
for
Fame
my-
member too. So
For my next pick, I'm gonna take my linebacker, and I am going to.
Takeo Spikes.
Yep, Takeo Spikes is my linebacker.
Ah, man. I was thinking about taking Takeo Spikes. You know, he was an all pro when he was here. I mean, unfortunately, he wasn't even here for that long. Gosh, Biscuit, Tally, Spikes off the board. I mean, okay. Let me
Couldn't
go
go
into
Matt
my.
Milano
I could go Matt Milano, and I'll say Matt Milano, ironically, is the 4th player on my big board, but I have a player on my big board higher than Matt Milano. Otherwise, I would take Matt Milano because he has a production, you know, first team All Pro, and he's really, really good. I mean, I freaking love Matt Milano. I almost took Matt Milano, but my second linebacker
I think I know who
is
you're going with.
Mike Stratton.
Oh,
You know,
man. Okay.
6-time All-Star, 2-time AFL champion, and he's a second team all-time AFL teamer. So out of the all-time AFL team, he's on the second team. So one of the best AFL players of all time. You know, helped us win 2 championships. And he's the OG 58, actually, you know, before Matt Milano. So Mike Stratton, I mean, I got an AFL defense kind of, but I mean, that AFL defense, I mean, helped bring us 2 AFL titles, right? So,
True.
I mean, you know, good picks in my opinion. So, yeah, Mike Stratton is my next pick.
Nice.
Good pick.
All right, so that leaves me.
Yes. You get
All
2
right,
picks.
Yep.
so let's see. I already took an offensive lineman. With my most recent pick, I took a running back with my most recent pick. So I think I'm gonna have to switch it to not defense, but special teams. I
Ooh, okay.
am going to pick the best special teams player in Buffalo Bills history, and he should be in the Hall of Fame, and that is Steve Tasker.
All right.
That is a really good pick. I
It
was
is.
thinking about
You took
Tasker.
all mine. I took all Jenna's picks, so I think she can take one of mine.
Yeah, I didn't get you back.
Yeah.
Steve? What do you mean, Ryan?
Great.
Wait.
Steve. Okay, yeah. Ryan
thought-
goes, Steve?
Don't question Jenna's picks there,
I think he's
Ryan.
quoting
Yeah.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
All right. So, then with my next pick, you know, I think I'm just gonna have to go with Marv Levy.
Ooh, I
Nice.
I
like
have,
that.
I have
Okay.
to snag him before it's too late.
Before it's too late. I mean, I already got my coach, so I don't have to
Gotcha.
worry about the head coach.
Yeah, this is directed at you, Ben and Tommy.
That we're taking shots at each
coach
other.
is tough. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and take my coach right now, and I'm not gonna take McDermott. I'm taking Wade Phillips. You know, go back and look at it.
Okay.
It really wasn't his fault at the end. And actually, his
Right.
last season, the team finished 8-8. So I mean, they weren't even that bad. He just refused to fire the special teams coach. And obviously, everyone knows what the Music City Miracle was. But I mean, Wade Phillips also one of the best defensive play callers of all time. He was the defensive coordinator for when the Broncos won the Super Bowl with Von Miller. So, to have him coaching Bruce Smith, Stratton, Gilbert. I mean, I think that's, a pretty good coach. And he's a defensive coach. I mean, McDermott is as well, but Wade loves, ground and pound, running the ball. So with OJ Simpson and Reuben Brown, we're just going to pound the ball down teams' throats, and we'll do a little play action with Diggs and Knox. I think it's going to work.
I think that would work. I mean, one thing with Wade Phillips, I mean, he had to take over after Marv Levy.
That's another great point.
So after all, I mean, even though he was here for a short amount of time, when he was fired, because he had to try to live up back to the expectations of Marv Levy, 4 straight Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though he lost them all, I mean, Marv Levy was the successor of the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Then Wade Phillips was, I believe Wade Phillips was on Marv Levy's staff.
Yeah, he was a defensive coordinator in, between, I think it was 93, 95, something like that. And then once Levy retired, he took over.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, and then also
tough shoes to fill.
Yeah, and not only that, but you just saw kind of the aftermath and fallout that happened. Like, I mean, they were 0-2, but they still went to the playoffs and were respectable. I mean, there wasn't another coach to bring the team to the playoffs until Sean McDermott after Phillips. So, I mean, you kind of saw the impact that, losing him at coach kind of had on the organization. So, Tommy, I think it's up to you now.
Yeah. Well, the head coach is Alan Piggin, but I mean, I'm going to take this. They say he kind of quit on the team, but I mean, he had a winning season when he was here, so I'm going to take Doug Marrone.
Doug Marrone?
I'm taking Doug Marrone.
He made an AFC championship with the Jags, and he was 9-7. His, he should have made it to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for that garbage call on Myles Jack that was clearly a fumble. He was 9-7. So
he should playoff. The offense was atrocious.
Yeah. Oh,
they were 9-7. They were one game out.
We were one game out. Yeah, we almost made it. All right, Paul, you're up next.
Yep. Oh man,
starting to thin out a little bit. I think you got special team.
I got special teams,
D-line, and tight end.
Yes, those are all my picks. All picks left. I'm going to wait on tight end. I think I can wait that out. I think that's going to be my last position I'm going to take. Honestly, I couldn't really find many tight ends, but I think I'm going to take a D-line here. Maybe not the most glamorous pick here, but I think we're going to take Jerry Hughes right here as my D-line. I mean, when we signed him, he was maybe a little bit on the older end. He came back. He was with Indy. I mean, he had some success at Indy, and I think he had most of the success here in Buffalo. I mean, obviously, you go back to the Denver game when they were in that COVID season. That I think it was the fumble return for a touchdown that really sealed the deal on winning our first AFC East title in a long time.
Yeah.
So I think Jerry Hughes deserves a lot of credit here. He also, I think he had 74 tackles for loss here. So, I mean, even though the back end of his career here was slower, I think Jerry Hughes, from the most part, should be known as a Bills all time.
I like Jerry Hughes. I think it's a pretty good pick. And, when you put in perspective, I mean, he was here from, the Marrone days until the McDermott days. So he really did his time, put in the work. I mean, just like you mentioned, he kind of fell off at the end, which was kind of apparent, which is why they decided to go in a different direction with Von Miller. But I love me some Jerry Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he actually popped off with the Texans.
Yeah, he did it. He did. For I think week 1 he had like 2.5 sacks, but I think he only finished with like 5.5. So that was like a third of his production 1 week. I think you're up again, Paul.
I am. I can go I can go anywhere here right now. For my special teams player, I'm trying to find that small little piece of paper where I wrote like 15 players down. So I could go. I have so many players. I mean, Jenna took Steve, which was my one of my few returners I had. I have Saram Neal. I also have Parrish. I think I'm going to take. I am going to take. I had him on my mind all day. Is Ryan Lindell. I think Ryan Lindell. I mean, I think out of all the kickers we had, I think
He's
Ryan
got
Lindell.
like a 80-something%
Yeah,
like kick percentage.
he's
Yeah, like
he
the-
was. You could. He's probably the best kicker in Bill's history. Out of the one AFL guy, I forget his name. I think his name is Christie.
No, Christie was on the Super Bowl teams.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was Norwood's replacement.
Oh, that makes much sense.
Yeah,
But I think Ryan Lindell.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Really good pick. Here.
he was, one of the unsung heroes of the drought years, I would say. So it goes back to
Yeah.
you, Tommy. Are you?
All right.
Let's see. What do you need? You need a
back and special
defensive
teams.
back and special teams.
Okay, so I'm gonna do my special teams first. I'm gonna go. They call him Mr. Automatic right now. I'm going Tyler Bass.
All right. I'm not gonna disagree. So I'm down to special teams and quarterback, right? So
Uh-huh.
you have
I
not
guess
taken an AFL
I'll-
quarterback yet.
yeah, and I'm not taking an AFL quarterback, but I mean I'll take a quarterback last just because
Taking EJ Manuel.
yeah,
Trent
maybe.
Edwards, JP
But
Lawson.
special
One of them.
teams, I'm gonna go kind of in a similar direction as Tommy and Paul, but I don't think you guys are gonna like this pick very much. But the numbers actually, let me pull up his numbers. Oh,
I think I
I
know
can
the
find
direction,
it.
but I'm not going to say it. I think I know. I just had the name in my mind. I'm waiting to be surprised.
okay. I just gotta verify, but even if it's not, even if I'm wrong, I'm still taking him anyways. Because why not? Let's see. Wow, I literally had it earlier.
Is it a special
Okay.
teams guy?
Yeah, it's special teams. All right. Yep. All right.
What's the position?
Mr. Automatic himself, the guy who throws his own helmet and hits himself in the face, but he has the best field goal percentage, the best percentage over 50, which I think is kind of critical in today's NFL. You got to be able to make your kicks, plus 60. I think Bass is at 61% over 50 in Buffalo, and it's Dan the Man Carpenter. I don't think any of you guys would have thought
Okay.
this was
I know.
a selection, but
He
I
missed
mean
that
the
kick
numbers
against
he's
Miami.
got better numbers technically than Lindell and Bass as far as percentage and over 50. So I'm a numbers guy. I need a special teamer. So hopefully OJ can get us into range, and then Carpenter can make another 60-yard field goal, and we can carry Wade Phillips off the field, kind of like how we did with Dan Schwartz back in 2014, I think, after we beat the Lions on the last play.
For a minute, I thought you were going to go Scott Norwood. I thought
No, I'm
there.
sorry. Nah, no disrespect to Scott Norwood, but I looked, and he's like 2 for 10 all time, greater than 50. I'm like, yikes! I could probably kick around that, or at least make one over 50. No, probably not. But I mean, every modern NFL kicker is automatic. I mean, that's a position that's definitely evolved a ton over time. So I mean, you'd kind of be crazy to take an AFL kicker when their kicking percentage is terrible. But another underrated name that should be mentioned is how about Brian Moorman, probably the best Bills punter of all time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Brian Moorman is. I mean, that was my era of watching Bills football. Like really remembering Brian Lindell, Brian Norman.
Yup.
That's
Those were
my
the
era
guys.
of watching Bills
Yeah.
football. So I mean, no watching those guys. Even though we stunk and we always punted, I always like seeing Brian Norman punt because I know I was getting a good punt.
Right. I agree. So I think Jenna, you get 2 picks, and then I think your team is done, right?
Yes. All right. So with my last 2 picks, I am going to go tight end, and I'm gonna get the guy who made the K gun offense work, and I'm gonna go with Keith McKellar.
That's a good pick.
Pick.
And then for my final pick, I'm gonna go with safety Micah Hyde.
Ooh,
That's another great pick.
The great.
Final pick. I mean, I kind of looked at the quarterback position a little bit more than the other ones, just in case I didn't end up with the top 2. So I did a little bit of homework on them. It was kind of not difficult to come up with a decision, but I mean, I did factor some things into it. I mean, obviously, you got to, differentiate the errors and everything like that, who they had around you. Jenna, you already took Fitz, so I mean, I can't, take that into account anymore since he's off the board. But out of the remaining ones, I mean, there is a quarterback who I believe he's got a better QBR than Josh in Buffalo. I mean, his interceptions are just wild how little he has. And then there's another quarterback who would be interesting to take. I mean, because I could go back but then again, now that I think about it, my pick is this pick makes more sense. I was originally going in a different direction, but now that I kind of look at my team, I was originally leaning Flutie just because of he's got a 23-16 record, and I mean, touchdown interception ratio pretty good. But he made the playoffs, but I mean, he lost his one playoff game, but the next year he didn't play in the playoffs, right? The Music City Miracle. The controversy was Phillips played Johnson. So am I going to handpick Doug Flutie to my Wade Phillips coaching staff? Probably not a great idea, right? So I'll go Ty God. He did great with what he had around him. So you put Diggs, Knox, Reuben Brown, and Simpson in an elite defense. Like, I think we're gonna be cooking with Tyrod on this team. He's no Josh, obviously. He's no Kelly, but with the pieces I have around him, I mean, probably elite defense. I think we could get it done. So I'm going Ty God with my last pick.
Yeah,
I like
Tyrod
that.
Taylor. If you gave Tyrod Taylor more weapons to work with, I mean, you look at his weapons; they were all right.
I mean, he had at one point he had Shady, Watkins, Woods, and Harvin, but I mean, they just no one could really stay healthy. That was really like the biggest pitfall at the end was like just the health overall. But yeah, that's my last selection is Tyrod.
So my last pick, I got to go with the defensive back, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's your only position available.
Yep, so they call this ball hawk. My last pick is going to be Jarius Byrd.
Oh man, I almost took the other Bird too, Tommy. That's a great pick. He's probably my favorite drought era Bills defensive player. I was actually watching his rookie highlights earlier, Tommy, and man, you got to go back and look at those 9 interceptions he made. Like, just some elite stuff, like the way he's able to track the ball and always even contested catches, he's going up there and mossing wide receiver. So man, he was phenomenal when he was here. That's a good pick.
Yep,
Really good pick.
Thank you. All right.
And I think we're down to
Mr. Irrelevant, me.
Yeah.
I don't know who I want at tight end. I mean, Scott Chandler's off the board. Dawson Knox is off the board. If Dalton Kincaid was drafted drafted last year and played a 5-game minimum, which qualifies for the minimum, I would have took him here, but I can't take him.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I
like,
mean,
too
there's
bad,
still a decent player who's available who honestly, I mean, if you look at the stats, you could even almost make a case to pick him over Knox even. And I feel like we're just kind of biased against him because of one particular play, but I mean, he actually wasn't that bad, honestly. I mean, he just kind of fell off, but
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take John Fina. He did have 1 catch in his career for 1 yard, but he's an offensive lineman. But offensive lineman can play tight end, right? Why not?
Right.
But I think because all the other tight ends that are on my draft board, I have no clue who they are or looked them up and their data wasn't even available to look at because they're so outdated. I'm going to take Charles Clay.
yeah, I honestly don't think that's as bad as a pick
No.
for the last pick.
No.
I mean,
No.
he was kind of getting, older his last
Mhm.
season in Buffalo, but I mean, when he was actually solid, during the Tyrod days for a while. So I mean, that's not a bad pick at all. So those are the teams. I mean, I guess I'll just quickly read through them to recap. So Paul, you got an offense with Josh Allen, Fred Jackson, Lee Evans, Charles Clay, Eric Wood, and then on defense you got Jerry Hughes, Darrell Talley, Nate Odoms, Ryan Lindell, and you're coached by Lou Saban. Tommy, you're led by Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Eric Mold, Scott Chandler, Kent Hull, and then on defense you got Mario Takeo Spikes, Jarris Bird, Doug Marone is your coach, and Tyler Bass is your kicker or special teams player. And then I have T-Mobile or T2, Ty God himself, Tyrod Taylor. And then I have OJ Diggs, Knox, Ruben Brown, Bruce Stratton, and as my linebacker, Butch Bird, Dan Carpenter, and Wade Phillips. Jenna, you have Fitzpatrick, Shady, Andre Reed, Keith McKellar, Mitch Morris, Kyle Williams, Cornelius Bennett, Micah Hyde, Steve Tasker, and are coached by Marv Levy. I mean, we got some really interesting teams here. I guess the dynamic too with mine could be interesting if they start losing. I mean, hopefully, that locker room, stays in shape with Diggs and, hopefully Diggs and OJ could get along. That's all I got to say. But other than that, I think I like my team. I'll say that we got a really good defense. I probably, in my opinion, might have the best defense, but I also have Bruce Smith. So, anyone with Bruce is kind of going to have maybe one of the better defenses. That's a given. But this was a lot of fun.
Before we get to Ryan's little meltdown in the comments about Stevie Johnson, I think my team's going in this era is going.
All right, Ryan, you can, with the rest of the players remaining, you can make a team, and that can be the 5th team. It could be the undrafted team. Stevie Johnson.
Yeah, all the other undrafted players that we got. We left so many other good players off the board. I think there's so many other good players.
How about we go over some players that went undrafted?
That's another great point.
Like James Lofton was off the board.
Yeah. Don Stevie Johnson.
Stevie's another good one. What about Pete Metzelaars?
Metzelaars.
Yeah. Like we mentioned, Fina, Fletcher, Delamolier. What about Fred Smerlis, Tommy? D tackle. Or nose tackle, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this guy, but another guy, Stephon Gilmore, was left off too.
Stephon Gilmore.
He was really.
Honestly, I kind of in my rankings, I thought about Gilmore, but looking at even his first 4 years versus Tre'Davious' first 4 years, honestly, Trey has been the better Bill his first 4 years. Gilmore may have been the better corner through his first 6 years, just because he kind of took another step when he went to New England, but that's just a good defensive system, and they have a great defense around him. But Gilmore is a good name though. He's definitely a really good corner. I mean, there's a lot of good corners,
Yeah.
right? You got Nate Clements too. What about Antoine Winfield?
Right.
Ryan
Oh.
brings up Cookie Gilchrist.
Yeah, Cookie
Right, Cookie.
Gilchrist, Joe Cribbs. We got
I mean, you
of
can go to
course.
the AFL quarterbacks that no one took.
Joe
I mean,
Ferguson.
I was actually
Jack-
Joe
Jack
Ferguson was
Kevin.
actually the one guy I was
Survivor.
debating on, but I just kind of looked at it and he was just super mid. I mean, he had some good
Right.
seasons actually. Like his best seasons, especially in his era, were pretty pretty good. Like he has more plus, or he has more 25 or 24 plus, either one or the other, touchdown passing seasons than even Kelly. So, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly had a way better winning percentage, way better touchdown interception ratio. But if you also look at it, I mean, that was an era where there was a lot more interceptions. Like
Right.
look at Joe Namath's career stats. He threw like 43 more picks than he did touchdowns, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Ferguson, I think he had like 9 more picks than touchdowns, and he was 76 and 76 in his start. So that's about 500. I just thought that's so average. Like Tyrod, he had that great QBR. His interception touchdown ratio, like it, it blew my mind. It's like I got to look at it again. Tyrod's touchdown.
What about Marshawn Lynch?
Oh,
my
Marshawn
God.
Lynch is
Yeah.
another really good one. Travis
Really
Henry.
good, yeah.
I mean, he was great when he was with Buffalo.
One
How
name.
about on the defensive line, Aaron Schobel?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was gonna
Ted
mention Aaron
Washington.
Schobel.
Yeah.
Even what about Phil Henson?
Mm-hmm.
How about on the secondary? This was honestly one of my favorite players growing up in the Bills era. Before Jarvis Landry decided to lean in and knock his entire career off.
I love Aaron
I
Williams,
loved Aaron
but
Williams.
I'm not. He's not an all time Bill to me. He's a
No?
really good Bill, but
He's a really good player. One of my favorites.
yeah,
growing
he
up.
had what, maybe like 1 or 2 really, really good years. I mean, I think he probably could have been there. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if Jarvis Landry didn't injure him, I mean, he would probably be on one of our lists over Hyde, because I don't think we even signed Hyde, but his career was too short for me. But
Yeah.
I guess if you're going for like one hit wonders, like guys who had really good 1-year seasons and really didn't do anything else. I mean, like guys who are here short. T.O. is also on there. I mean, he didn't have the production he normally had, but I mean, he wasn't bad when he was here. T.O. We just didn't really have a star quarterback, but I mean, he did have that 98-yard connection with Fitzpatrick in Jacksonville, and I mean, he caught a couple bombs.
Right.
Did anybody pick Matt Milano?
I
No.
almost picked Matt Milano, Jenna. I ended up taking Stratton instead, just because he's a second team all AFLer all time, and
Mm-hmm.
he's got like 5 all-star selections and like 2 all AFL teams. I mean, some of these players are so old, like they're all-stars. I mean, they don't even have all-stars in the NBA anymore. Or NBA, NFL. I'm thinking NBA with all-stars in baseball or anything. But yeah, there is no all-stars in football anymore.
Nobody took Von Miller either. I mean, even
That's
though it's
another
only been
good
one
pick.
season,
Yeah.
he's still like gonna be one of
An
those
All-time
guys.
player.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about him
Oh.
too. I was thinking Lorenzo was on there. I had him on my board. I was like, earlier today, I was like, I'm going to probably take Lorenzo Alexander. And then for some reason, my mind just shifted. I think it's just because of my draft mind was like, this guy's available, and just go grab him. And I just became my inner GM went in and
Right.
like, gotta grab that guy.
Sorry,
I'm glad,
I said
I'm glad
Von
no one
Miller.
took
My dad says nobody wants that bum.
Oh my gosh.
Ben.
What's that, Tommy?
Aaron May took him.
What's that? Sorry, you cut out.
Yeah,
Aaron
that-
Maben?
I remember the Aaron.
There he is.
I mean, that was almost as good as what, like the big Mike Williams, the offensive lineman we took.
Yeah.
Oh, another good one too. Mentioning offensive lineman, all-time great offensive lineman. Like he was so good that Lane Johnson had to play on the right his whole career and basically forge a Hall of Fame career there. So what about Jason Peters? Like he really, maybe didn't have, like he was good with the Bills, but like we just didn't re-sign him after his rookie contract. And then he became arguably one of the best left tackles of all time. So I mean, that's another, one you could probably, go.
Man, we got a lot of good players in this
I
draft.
know another
and-
one.
What's
Go
that,
ahead.
Tommy?
How about a one hit? I was gonna say another one hit wonder. You could have taken Carlos Williams.
Carlos Williams, yeah.
hmm
I
Yeah,
mean,
you wouldn't.
yeah, but like there's so many great running backs because if you're talking one-hit wonders, man, because all right, now we have a different game. If we're going like one season and like we're counting their stats from one season, then give me CJ Spiller in 2011 or 2012, whatever it was, when he had like 1,900 all-purpose yards. He actually probably had more if you include kickoffs, right? But he had like 1,200 something plus rushing yards, like 600 receiving yards. Like he was so electric in an
Right.
offense that really didn't have that much firepower. So, I mean, if you're talking, one-hit wonders as far as having like a great one season, like, I mean, CJ Spiller was the man, that one year.
Another favorite player of mine growing up was CJ Spiller. I just liked how he moved and how he ran. I just, for some reason, when he wasn't in the Bills anymore, I was sad when he left. I
Yeah.
just really loved CJ Spiller.
Yeah, me too. He's one of my favorites growing up as well.
Yeah.
What about
Tommy?
DeAndre Hopkins, Tommy? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I have one. JD.
Go.
JD McKissick.
That's a
JD.
great one. Up there with who else we got? We got Jeremy Maclin, right? Zach Ertz, JJ Watt. I'm trying to think. AB is on the list. Like we got some.
Mhm.
I mean, we could probably make like an all-time team of like players like who like
Oh my
goes to the
god.
Bills or didn't end up going there. What about Anquan Bolden? Right? Didn't he show up for training camp and just like retire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vontae Davis retired
Mhm.
at halftime.
Yeah. They were just like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Bills legend Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, right. All right, but that was fun, by the
Oh,
way, on the
Yeah.
draft portion. That was definitely a fun little exercise. Kind of get us
Yeah.
in the fantasy mood. I mean, obviously not now, but one thing I would really like to do on this show is definitely talk more fantasy. So now that
Right.
the season's getting closer, I feel like that's definitely an episode we gotta have. Is maybe hopefully we could even get like a guest or someone who really knows fantasy, and we can have them on and ask them some questions. But like I feel like that's something I'd really like to do is kind of have like a fantasy special. We'll talk Bills. We'll just talk fantasy in general. But, I mean, we're getting closer, guys. We're 15 days away from when rookies report, and then 22 days from when vets report. So, I mean, this is the month that training camp starts. This is the last month without an NFL football game until March of 2024.
Let's
Just let
go.
that sink in because we get preseason in August, then the season starts, and then we don't have to watch XFL or USFL until February.
Good.
So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I feel like before preseason rolls around, we're like, yeah, preseason. We're gonna be able to watch NFL football, and then preseason comes on, and you're watching that. First
Yeah,
game,
you
and
watch
you're
the
like,
first
the
game,
fuck
and
am I
then by
watching?
halftime you turn it off. But
Yeah.
it's still, it's, I mean, it's really just the whole thing. It's like you're only 3 weeks away. You get to see some players maybe. I mean, some people, if you want to watch rookies or, roster battles, it is a little interesting to, keep an eye on some guys. But yeah, they aren't usually too interesting, but it's just more like the whole concept that, it's, football time. Like you're only 2 or 3 weeks away at that point, right? Like,
Honestly,
honestly, I know the
I
season kind of just felt like it ended, but now it feels like the offseason kind of blown by. Like it was dragging
oh,
for
it
a
did.
while. And I mean, those D-Hop days were kind of long. The draft was a fun, trip experiment, whatever. But I mean, we're finally getting there though, guys. We got training camp this month, and I could not be more excited for football to be back. Like, don't get me wrong, I like hockey. I mean, go Sabres, but there's nothing like Bills football, at least to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I'm excited. So, but that's really all I have tonight because I just prepped for this draft, which was super fun, by the way. So
Oh, it was super fun.
we'll put a poll up on Twitter, and then make Jenna. You want I'm kind of volunteering you, but I mean you make some great graphics. Do you mind making the team graphics for each of the teams?
Yeah, I can definitely make up some graphics of our
Okay.
drafts.
Perfect. I mean,
Thank you.
I wrote down all the teams, so like, I mean, also I can send you my team too,
Yeah,
or the
definitely. I
teams
wasn't
too,
able
just to
to
kind of
write
remind
it
you
down.
and tell you who's on who. But that way we have them in order. But
Mhm.
I mean, this was a great show tonight, guys. Really fun exercise. Paul, your offense is gonna be dynamic down the field. But Tommy, I like your offense too with Molds, Thurman, and Kelly. Like, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I mean, we got some great teams here. I mean, I'm excited to see what the audience and everyone on Twitter thinks about who drafted the best team and why. So thank you again to everyone who tuned in. We'll definitely have a recap on YouTube. We might, post up some shorter clips too from this video too, to kind of break it up. But again, thank you to everyone who tuned in, and have a happy 4th of July too. Hopefully you spend it with friends and family. Enjoy your holiday and day off. I believe the Buffalo Basement is, still going on at its regular scheduled time on Thursday at 7:30. So make sure to check out that. And thank you for tuning in to the Undercovers, and go Bills.
Yeah,
Go
I just
Bills.
want to add that
Oh.
in the next 2 weeks we're going to be going over each conference in the NFL.
Oh,
So
right. I
next
forgot to
week,
mention
I
that.
believe it's going to be the AFC. We're going to make some rankings from 1 to 16. The week after, we're going to the NFC. So make sure you tune in for those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Please be fun. Another
Yep.
3 weeks of really fun episodes. So I think this off season is about to get even more fun.
Oh,
Maybe in the
100%.
most boringest of times.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
a
I'm
bit of
looking forward
unbiased
to it.
rankings.
Yeah. Bills won.
Yes. All right. So that concludes our Buffalo Bills all-time draft. We'll see you guys next week. Go Bills.
Bye.
All right.
Go Bills.